Hey, what's going on? Todd Shaw with another episode of the Sawdust Dude. I appreciate you watching. Oh yeah! All right, awesome guys. Hey, this is an exciting video. This shoot here because it's number 75. A little over 2 years I've been doing the Sawdust Dude, and I'm pretty excited about it because it's the feedback I get from you folks. So I appreciate it so much. Literally, I wake up every morning and get my smartphone just to see how many new followers that are watching the Sawdust Dude, how many views and all that other crazy stuff, and that really gets me going, which brings me to this point. Go ahead and hook a brother up, because this channel runs on love, and every time somebody subscribes, that's just a little more love, and that keeps me going. So I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Hey, as I said, it's video number 75, and I want to dedicate this video to you, the Carpenter Apprentice. Yeah, because you guys have really been reaching out. Matter of fact, if you Google Carpenter Apprenticeship Tips, guess who's going to be towards the top? The Sawdust Dude, and that's because of you and you, and I appreciate that so much. So it's all the feedback that I'm getting. It's really what this video is all about. And today, I want to tell you, there's another way. What? They don't sell you tools. Keep your tools. Yeah. On this video, make sure you watch the entire video, because at the end, I've got a cool story for you that you don't want to miss. You know, primarily on the Carpenter Apprenticeship Tips videos that I do, and check out the playlist, Carpenter Apprenticeship Tips. There's all kind of cool videos for you guys and for you guys. So you want to check out those videos, but primarily they're kind of focused towards residential construction, which got me thinking, wait a minute. And it's going to tie in with the story at the end. But it got me thinking, carpentry and woodworking, it got me thinking about my own life. You know, when I think about my journey, you know, my granddad had a sawmill, and at a young age I was out there helping him and catching sawmill slabs and shoveling sawdust, and that's where I really got the bug, and that was just such a cool thing to see. Later on in life, started working in a mill shop with Mr. Bruce Davis, and where we built custom items for homes and build doors out of mahogany and things like that. It was just a crazy, wonderful experience. And then, of course, a frame carpenter, a trim carpenter, a finish carpenter, built cabinets, build furniture, different things like that. So when I look at my journey and I think about where you guys come from, kind of really made me think. And this is the big question, or the big statement is, there's another way other than 16 on center, a framing hammer, and building homes. So in this video, I really want to talk about this, about carpentry and woodworking. Because, you know, if you look on my YouTube banner, it says Carpentry to Woodworking, learning better skills for better results. What I want to pose to you is this, that they really kind of come together. Earlier, I typed in, I asked Google, I said, hey, what is carpentry? And the Google definition was the activity or skill of making things from wood. That's woodworking. So I said, hey Google, what is carpentry? And Google's response was, hey, Google's trying to listen. Google's response to what is a carpenter, or what is carpentry, an activity or skill of making things from wood. So according to Google, they are the same, carpentry and woodworking. Now, that's not what most people will tell you. Here's the difference. Most time when we think about carpentry, we think about 16 on center. A guy, he frames houses, he builds houses, he swings a hammer, that kind of stuff. When we think about woodworking, or if you go to these specialty shops like Woodcraft, a great store where you buy woodworking items, we think about some retired dude, Irving, who was a podiatrist from Salt Lake City, Utah, and he's now retired, and he makes cutting boards and birdhouses in his woodworking shop, and it looks more like an operating room than it does a woodworking shop with dust everywhere. Well, there's nothing wrong with Irving. Hats off to you, brother, for getting into woodworking. This is about time. Better late than never. You know, For me, I'm talking about the professional guy. This is what you wake up and you do each and every day. Love it, you're passionate about it, and man, you're all about it. This is going to sound crazy, but don't focus in so much on being just a frame carpenter. But I will tell you this, learn all you can about being a frame carpenter. Remember, Sawdust Dude is all about learning better skills for better results. I'm telling you, learn everything that you possibly can. This will make sense if you stay tuned until the end. Now here's the deal with carpentry and woodworking. I look over at my life and think about all the different things that I've done. I've been a frame carpenter, I've been a trim carpenter, I've built cabinets, I've worked on historical homes. That's a whole different type of carpentry. And when you look at that and somebody says, oh, I'm a carpenter, you can't just make those blanket statements like that. And it's all carpenters are this. No, because as you're starting out and you're looking for opportunities and you're just kind of looking through this little pinhole eyeglasses kind of stuff like this, I'm telling you to broaden your horizon a little bit. Because think about working with wood. I got this whiskey barrel here that's charred on the inside, and it's pretty cool. And later on I'll have a video about stuff to make out of reclaimed wood out of a whiskey barrel. So you want to check out that video too. But there's a carpenter, a woodworker, a person who works with wood who built this whiskey barrel. And that particular type of carpenter is called a cooper, okay? And so, you know, if you don't open your eyes, if you don't broaden your view, you may have never known that a cooper, that is a carpenter, builds whiskey barrels or wine barrels. And that would be a cool job to do. You can also think of a luthier, who is a carpenter, a woodworker. A luthier is someone who builds musical instruments out of wood. Now, I've got a friend of mine up in Boone, North Carolina. David Fink is a fine luthier. He builds reproduction Stradivarius style violins and is a phenomenal woodworker. I had an opportunity to travel out to Austin, Texas, and see there's a whole wave or movement out of carpenters who build green homes. I don't mean the color green. I mean it's an eco-friendly kind of construction work. And that's just a whole nother type of carpentry / woodworking. I often thought this would be a cool job. There are carpenters and woodworkers who build sets for like Broadway or Disney. Imagine working at Disney or Universal Studios or a theme park. They have a whole construction department. That is another opportunity for you as a carpenter apprenticeship to get involved with. Look back at my life. There's carpenters that specialize in historical carpentry. So in other words, the historical homes in South Carolina that I used to work on in places like Columbia, South Carolina, and Charleston, South Carolina, these homes have to meet a certain standard. And so you just can't paint them any color. You have to, there's a whole Sherwin-Williams template of historical colors that you get to choose from. If you replace molding, you have to you take your old molding to a millwork shop, and they'll make knives, and so they can cut out brand new molding, but it matches the old historical type of molding. Even if you do a new addition on a historical home, it has to match the style of construction that the home was originally built in. And that's another cool job, historical construction. So the big challenge for you is this, is learning the skills for better results. Learn all you can about framing a house. Learn all you can about what it means to trim out, about how to hang doors in a house, how to run trim. Learn all you can about the outside trim of a house. Now here's the big story that I want to leave you with, and it's this. You know, so many of you people, even this morning when I woke up, there was a new carpenter apprentice. It'd been 2 weeks on the job. She just bought a bunch of new tools, had zero skills. He is just now learning how to read a tape measure. And I'm so excited, and you could just hear the enthusiasm in his little message to me. But I want to tell you, here's one of the things that you really kind of need to think outside the box a little bit. And it's this, and this is a story from a young man in Colorado. He says, you know, Todd, I've really been trying to be a carpenter for years and years, and nobody will give me a shot. Nobody. I've tried and tried and tried. Okay. Well, this young dude's trying to help out his family. His dad took off, and you can read the story. Look in the Carpenter Apprenticeship videos, and you can find the story in there. So it's no secret. But his dad left him, left his family. So he dropped out of high school. He was folding burritos at a Mexican restaurant. He was working at a Home Depot. He was doing whatever he could to bring in $1 to help his family. And cool deal. Awesome to you, brother, for doing that. But he had a dream of being a carpenter. But he didn't have a driver's license and he didn't have a car. And I want to tell you something right now. That is real tough. So you don't have a high school diploma. You don't have a driver's license. You don't have a car. Man, that's a lot working against you. But my comment was this. Yeah, it's going to be hard to be a carpenter, a residential or commercial carpenter if you don't have those things. But have you ever thought about seeing that if a cabinet shop, if a millwork shop, a woodworking shop may have an opportunity for you? And it wasn't 3 or 4 days later. And this is all on him because he was hungry to work with wood. The dude went out, found a job at a cabinet shop. It's like, I have a job that I always wanted, making more money than I thought I would ever earn. And I appreciate it so much for all your little tips, the Carpenter Apprenticeship tips and these videos. Now listen, I'm not taking any credit for that because it's all on him. He wanted it, he went after it, and yeah, that's what it's all about. And so he's got it. And so that's such a cool story that all I had to do was, hey man, look over here. Not here, but here. Okay? So, you know, there's another way. So look for every opportunity. And guys, I can't stress enough, learn all you can. Learning better skills for better results because it all ties together. If you want to call it carpentry, call it carpentry. If you want to call it woodworking, call it woodworking. But I'm going to tell you what, at some point in time in life, hey, here's the dude that's 40 years plus into it. It all comes together. They all help each other out. So the things that I've learned working with whiskey barrels and the things that I learned framing houses helped me out to be a better carpenter / woodworker. Hey, well, cool deal. Good deal, guys. Hey, I appreciate you watching another episode of the Sawdust Dude, and I'll see you real soon. Oh, yeah.